Mike.
Versatile characteristics. And secondly, the real driver of polymer demand is construction. And I think somebody presented yesterday or today that globally, almost 50% of the polymer PVC demand comes from construction industry. Even in India, going forward by 2030, some 6 trillion rupees is the size of construction industry. So that gives a lot of scope for PVC to be the key ingredient contributing to construction industry in India. We have the panel, as you can see, the three eminents. Mr. Gurmit Singh Arora, you as a president of Green Building Council and Indian Plumbing Association, what's your view on the economy and growth prospects of PVC in the global south?
Well, I will talk about the construction industry. 2/3 of India is still to be built. We are right now urbanizing at a rate of 6.7%. We are looking at lots of schemes of the government where the use of plumbing materials in plastics is going to expand exponentially, and I'll tell you a few. We have the Atal Mission for Rejuvenation of Urban Transformation 2.0, where we are looking at 24/7 water supply in 4902 cities. There is the Swachh Bharat Mission, the Clean India Mission. We have the Smart Cities Mission, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is called Housing for All also, under the Ministry of Housing Urban Affairs, where we are looking at a 300 square feet house for every urban poor. We have the Open Defecation Free program and the Jal Jeevan Mission, where we are looking at 55 liters per capita per day. India has 18% of the world's population, but only 4% of the fresh water. So we have to recycle rainwater harvest, obviously. We have a Jan Sanchay Jal Bhagidari scheme, where we are already reached 1.1 million recharge pits because there is a lot of urban flooding, and by having recharge pits, 70% of India's water comes from groundwater.
I would like to ask, what are the advantages of collaborating with additive producer like Dow? And how does this partnership help in contribution to growth of PVC industry in the region?
Thanks a lot, and good evening, everyone. It's kind of a real pleasure to be here with all the industry partners and the value chain partners. I think the Vinyl conference, I think we are participating for the first time in here, but it has been fabulous. The kind of speakers we had and the kind of knowledge which I think all of you shared was very important, right? So Dow has been actually pioneer, if you see in the vinyl industry, right? So if you look at from the upstream perspective, you look at EDC as well as VCM. So Dow actually has been in this value chain with EDC and VCM for ages, right? And when you look at from a downstream perspective, Dow has the Dow plastic additive business. It's actually formerly Roman Haas, where we took over that business from Roman Haas, and we have been the innovators as well as like some of the new application areas. We have been there for the last 60 years. So Dow has been in this value chain for ages, right? The most important part here is that, when you look at the Dow plastic additive business, the Dow plastic additive business supplies the processing aids, the impact modifiers, when it talks about the acrylic impact modifiers and the MBS to the whole industry. So when you overall look at what Dow brings, to this industry, and I was talking to a lot of players and a lot of customers today, is that the PVC industry, like be it the PVC, CPVC, and all the offshoots of PVC. It's very important that we understand all the processing aids, right? A lot of partners talked about different processing aids, right? But it is important to really understand that how these processing aids are synergistically working together to really give a good performance, right? And that's very important to understand, because you have, sometimes the one pack, you have the super pack, you have the individual additives, and all those individual additives, really play an important part in your final performance.
How do you see PVC as an important input in designing the commercial or the personal building? Do you really give importance to PVC?
Good evening, everyone. It's a very important question that do architects give importance to PVC or plastics? In fact, Mumbai airport is a big example for all of us. The solid surfaces, the material that has been to encase the whole Mumbai airport, I think it is a composite material, right? So it's been used on a very large scale. Somehow, in the architecture industry, somehow the companies, the manufacturers are not actually supporting the architects. That's what I feel. In fact, I had a small presentation, but somehow it is not getting connected. Today, I think we are in the global level, one. Second, we are into a digital level today. So there is a lot of things like parametric architecture which is getting practiced. I, as an architect, I'm also a manufacturer. Okay, I have a factory set up at Navi Mumbai, so where I build my own designs. So whatever designs that we look at today, we build our own designs. The idea is today, the building industry is changing. Plastics have been major components in the construction industry in terms of especially the window extrusions, one, probably the plumbing areas where it is. But on the facade areas, where facade could be a major challenge today, that is something which we are not exploring, right? And I think that's the area where the plastic industry or the vinyl industry or the PVC industry need to come forward and help the architects that what kind of a products they are ready to give it to the architects in terms of the design components, not rather telling them that, these are the materials which are available, you can please take it. So that's where we feel that, as architects and designers, that the industry is not supporting us in terms of building new technologically advanced designs. We work on robotics, we do 3D printing. In fact, I've got almost 100 3D printers in my own unit today. So we do 3D printing components to build our designs. Okay, so the design level is changing. AI has drastically changed the way people are actually looking at design now.
Plumbing industry, how do you marry sustainability with your business?
We are committed to be carbon neutral or achieve carbon circularity by 2070. Now, we know global warming is at our footstep, and currently even the architect of this program or his subordinates are not going to be alive, and many of us are not going to be alive in 2070, 45 years from now. I don't think we have a choice, we have to do something now. Now, India, there are 72 green building councils around the world. India is already number 2 as far as green footprint is concerned in the world. We are right now at 13.6 billion square feet. And we would become number 1 in the world by March 2026, that is the target. Having said that, we are working with the government of India. For example, we have converted the Energy Conservation Building Code of India to Energy Conservation Sustainable Code of India, which includes water and waste through the Ministry of Power, nothing to do with the Ministry of Water, Jal Shakti Ministry or the Ministry of Housing. Also, as you know, there's a construction boom, whether it's HIG, MIG, LIG, or economically weaker section also. You're converting Dharavi. There's a lot of redevelopment projects happening in Maharashtra. You're knocking down buildings and making new buildings, taller buildings. You have to, we are working with the government to make sure that by 2030, any new building that will be built must be certified green. And the existing buildings after 2030, up to 2047, must be converted to green. We have more than 300 projects in net zero stage. Under some stage or of certification for net zero status of net zero water, energy, waste, and carbon. There are buildings which do not require a municipal connection for water and energy.
To say very, very useful products to the industry or the economy.
Yeah, so I think as you have seen that the industry is growing at 7% CAGR, and if you look at the investment coming in India, you're talking about, growth from $5 billion to $15 billion with $8 billion of, the growth coming in the next 2 to 3 years. So there's a significant amount of opportunity there in the industry here in India to really move things, right? And when we looked at things, we looked at 70% of the market being the rigid form, right? And so when you look at that, you actually have the 30% of the market, which is actually also a market where you can look at opportunities and you can look at how you can grow that market sustainably, right? So looking at data centers, looking at window profiles, the window profile market is significantly growing. You have the flexible packaging and pharmaceuticals, right? So that's the whole industry is actually growing in that way. Now, when you are looking at, in addition to what he was talking about with respect to sustainability, right? And, if you look at the PVC piece, right? So the PVC has got a lot of chlorine in it, right? So half of the feedstock energy, if you see, is lower as compared to some of the plastics which is made from the hydrocarbons. So if you look at the processing and if you look at the plastic, if you look at the processing and the initial feedstock energy from a PVC perspective, that is lower. But when you come to PVC processing, the next step, I think the CO2 footprint is kind of, very similar. So what we are looking at is to see when you are looking at the overall complete process, right? When you're looking at the complete life cycle analysis, what, he was talking about. So either you can look at the life cycle analysis just from a PCF perspective, or you can look at from a perspective of the whole value chain. So Dow is coming up with a zero or a carbon neutral ethylene, which we are actually, in Canada, which we are coming up with.
What is it that they need to do to make you look at PVC not as a cheap raw material for construction, but as a versatile product which can trigger your creativity?
See, there are multiple ways to look at things. If you tell me today, let us say, I'll just give an example. You guys have got 6 inches dia pipes, you've got 3 inches dia pipes, you have got 300 mm dia pipes. If I use these pipes, connect these pipes, multiple pipes together, and convert that into probably a circular beam, and put some steel fibers in it and pour concrete, I can get a circular column, which is also a beam. Multiple pieces like this in different format, I can create a new design, right? That's a small thought process. But the problem is when I'm fixed to those 300 mm pipes, or 500 mm pipes, or 150 mm pipes, or 50 mm pipes. We as architects feel that we need that little flexibility where we could go beyond the thought process of design, and these materials can adopt or probably change their nature to the kind of a design that we are looking at. So if this kind of an opportunity is given to the architects today, or especially the designers worldwide, I'm not talking about just being in India, worldwide, if this opportunity could be given to architects, then I think we can see a new dimension in the progress of architecture. Today we are all seeing glass buildings everywhere. Do we need that? The logical question is, do we really need glass buildings? One, no. Especially in India, being in tropical country, we don't need glass buildings, but still we don't have an option. That is the only material which is available to us today. The other thing is ACP. There are only 2 materials where people are playing around with. But since we were also talking about sustainability, we did one building in Navi Mumbai where we cladded the whole facade of a project with brick, just brick, almost 2.5 lakh square feet. Okay, with brick using parametric design details. But on the contrary, okay, if we could have also had an opportunity where these PVC plastic materials could have helped us out in terms of giving that detail where we can change the form of the object.
Requested to please come forward. Next, Mr. Gurmit Singh Arora, the National Chairman, IGBC, Marketing Outreach and Strategic Alliances and National President, the Indian Plumbing Association.
Ramya, you cannot say that name wrong. It is Mr. Arora. He will have 20 more designations to come forward, but the name remains. जहाँ से खड़े होते हैं वहीं से line चालू होती है.
True that. And Mr. Krishnamurthy, the Principal Architect for Folds Design Studio.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnamurthy. Appreciate that a lot. And may I request that lady who was Niharika, please come forward, run up. You have this opportunity. Your dedication is getting rewarded. I need you to run. Come on. With the same endeavor that you were taking notes. May I request you to please hand over the memento to our dear panelist. Come on. Yes, yes. Go forward. This is your moment. You carried your pad actually. This is your pad that you wrote in? Yeah, okay, group photo. Very much. So just stay with us. Please fill your forms. अगर आपको गाड़ी नहीं चाहिए आप हमें दे देना पर आप fill form करें. बेहतर से बेहतर की तलाश हम करेंगे. मिल जाए नदी तो समुंदर की तलाश हम करेंगे. टूट जाता है शीशा पत्थर की चोट से. टूट जाए पत्थर ऐसा शीशा हम बनकर दिखाएंगे. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end and we'll have a lucky draw. We have beautiful gifts coming in. May I request the consul to please show our gifts that are we going to be having the lucky dip for. The lucky dip guy. End of the 12th Vinyl Asia International PVC and Chloralkali Conference. We shall see you next year, April. Stay safe, stay healthy. लोगों को अक्सर कहते सुनते हैं, जिंदा रहे तो फिर मिलेंगे. मगर आपसे मिलकर इस दिल ने महसूस किया, मिलते रहे तो जिंदा रहेंगे. We're going to see you guys next year. Stay safe.